Thank y'all for being here this evening. Call the Harris County Board of Commissioners meeting for April 16, 2019 to order. And we will have our invocation by Pastor Taylor.
Bow your heads and please pray with us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the gorgeous weather we have. We thank you for all of the many blessings you bestow upon us, not only physical blessings, but also spiritual blessings. And in this season that we are coming up on, please help us keep in mind that, as has been said before, it may be Friday spiritually, but Sunday's coming. And as we approach the Good Friday and Easter, that you will bless us and that we will realize that you are, in fact, our Savior. For all these and our many things, we ask you continue to bless us and bless this board tonight as we deliberate on behalf of the citizens of Harris County and help us to do the right thing. In Christ's name we pray.
And Mr. Grant will lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for a regular session of April 2nd. Do I have a motion? Motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any questions or changes to the minutes? Seeing none, and all those in favor? Motion is approved. Is there an appearance of citizens? No, Nancy. The next item on our agenda is the cost sharing for the Hamilton Emergency Center. During our March 13th meeting, and it was a call session, we had a brief discussion regarding the request of the City of Hamilton to assist in the cost of repair for their siren. We decided the consensus was that we would wait until we had the cost for the repair, total cost for the repair. The repair cost is $6,437.90. There is also an additional cost, and I will let Mr. Hood, if you'd like to come to the front and talk a bit about this, $3,018.50, and this, in my understanding, is to allow our 911 center to activate the sound.
Correct.
So,
that's in addition to this cost?
Yes.
$9,456.40.
and the City of Hamilton had not asked if we would like to provide a specific amount of funding to help with this expense, but since it does enhance the emergency notifications of some of our county residents and employees, they asked if we would be willing to consider any amount. Is that not, that's correct, isn't it, Ricky? So is there any discussion? Are there any questions?
So the extra $3,018.50 is totally to make it so that 911 can turn it on?
Yes, and during the time that it was down, the original remote set-off was disabled at the 911 center that we used through the city to set it off. So now we have to go back in and add an upgraded system to match the new radio system we have. That will give the city access to it as well as the 911 center.
About how far can that be heard, Ricky?
I live approximately 5 miles from the city of Hamilton. I can hear it outside at my house. If I'm inside, I can't. very faintly, but I can hear it when I'm outside as far as 5 miles away.
Is that 116, east direction?
116 out on 6th Street.
I know I heard it up on the soccer field when y'all tested it the other week. But my wife said she didn't hear it at park, which that made no sense to me because it's right here. So and she may have been inside too.
I was about to say inside that metal building.
Right, she may have been inside Park Elementary. So. But I heard it out there on the soccer field.
Distinctly, I mean,
I heard it pretty distinctly. As a matter of fact, I called Nancy to tell her, hey, I hear the siren out here in the stadium, and you could hear it pretty good at the stadium. Now, we're not 5 miles away,
yeah,
but I heard it pretty distinctly.
that's an important place to
Right.
be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Involved.
Yeah, so I thought if you could hear it at the stadium, I'm pretty sure you could probably hear it at Moultrie. So that's pretty good coverage right there.
We're also hoping to build on it. We've got an additional siren at the State Park that was purchased years ago when I worked up there. And once this one is implemented, we can also put a sub-siren up there that will notify the campground. Around here, we got the code red, which helps a lot. But the people that are in the campground don't have access to that because they're from out of town. They're not registered with the code red alert. So once this one gets in place, we can add an additional site and have it remotely set off as well, just like this one. I'm going to try to get funding from the Friends Group at the State Park to take care of some of that experience.
If we don't participate in the cost, is the city of Hamilton still going to do $3,000 to connect it to the 911 center?
We'll have to make it usable.
Did y'all set it off manually the other day when y'all were testing?
That's when I found out the remote didn't work anymore. So all the soft guards.
Okay, any other question?
What kind of warranty comes with this from Southern Reloading?
A year's warranty.
1 year?
It's rebuilt. I looked at the job on it. Looks like new again, operates like new. Things, I'm not sure of the date that it was installed. I know it was before 75, so it's been up for quite a few years. It's a very heavy-duty motor that's on it.
Any other question?
Randy, where would it come from our budget if we participate?
This would be a budget amendment. Clayton, any ideas? General fund reserve comes to mind. I don't see SPLOST 14. I don't see, it's not that. So, general fund reserves or solid waste fund reserves. That's, Clayton, you have any ideas? But the most appropriate would be the general fund reserves.
Okay, is there a motion?
Are you looking through the budget to see where it comes from, Susan?
I was just looking to see. I mean, it has to be
Saw you
budget
pull it
limit
out.
no matter what, but there was a couple of places I was looking where they were way below, but I don't know what expenses they have coming up. In the next few months.
No motion?
Could we get, I'll make a motion that we participate without adding a cost figure, just to see if there's enough support to participate. Does that make sense? And then we can decide if we don't want to participate, why we're going to figure out how much. So, I make a motion that we assist Hamilton at a cost to be determined in another motion. Does that make sense?
If it would help, I could put this in next year's budget beginning July 1st and reimburse the city at that time and it'll go through the budget process. That's an option. But I need to know an amount to put in the budget.
I'll second the motion. Can you do a motion for I'll second. So you did, I'm sorry. I didn't hear it, sorry. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Harry, was that yes or no?
No. Here.
That was
Okay. So, vote is 4-1, we do that. We do that.
And how much?
Right, now we need to determine how much.
If I may, the new 2019 SLOSS does have a public safety line, and that wasn't included in the initial cost estimates or anything that we had for what we put in there, but that is a public safety type item.
So it could come from SLOSS
Could
19.
come from SLOSS.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any ideas to what they might like to suggest? Well, I'll make a recommendation, I no more than $1,500.
No more than.
No more than $1,500. Anybody else have any other ideas?
If you take the $9,456.40 and you figure that maybe this siren will affect maybe a fourth of the population, and I know I'm going to be straight before, and you did it into fours, that's $2,364.10. I mean, it's still not the $3,000 for the hooking up for 911, but that's actually a fourth of it. If you're looking at, it's affecting maybe a fourth of the population.
I think it'd be a lot less than 4.
Yeah, and it probably is. I just, like I said, I just did it that way. You know, I'm a history teacher. I'm the best man that I can do.
Well, the reason I would support it is, we do have our county offices here.
Right.
County employees within the city limits.
As Rob mentioned earlier, if you've got soccer games going on, football games, you've also got an additional amount within city limits of more population.
School children.
And that's kind of where I was coming up with the fourth.
If it happens on a school day,
Right. Or on a Saturday when you got ball games going on at Moultrie and the soccer complex.
what was that amount?
It was $2,364.10, roughly. I mean,
Say 2365.
yeah,
Rounded up.
rounded
Would
up.
you go up to 2,000?
Sure.
Just to go 2,000.
Sure.
You made your motion to go to 2365?
Yes.
Oh, 23,000.
Sorry, 2,000.
It's 22,000.
Sure. 2,000. 2,000.
To come from what fund?
Well, if we did what Randy said, so it comes out of the public safety funds, blossom 2019.
SLOSS 19, easy.
And that way we, at least, Ricky's gonna know that we're putting in $2,000 when that kicks in. Or,
Would that come out of Hamilton's portion they requested of the SLOSS?
I don't think so. No, I think that should come
I mean, for
out.
$2,000, we can take out SLOSS 19 and it'll be fine.
That, I'll make that motion that that's what we do.
It's 219. Okay.
Right.
County.
It's lost 2019. Okay, all those, did you get it?
I'll say.
You go second. Okay.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the Alabama right-of-way issue. Mr. Gary Loman, who came to our, and appeared before us at the last meeting regarding the right-of-way issue on Alabama Road. And it was specific to the trees that he had planted on the right-of-way. And background, our public works director had sent Mr. Woman a letter asking, advising him to remove the trees by completed before April the 30th. So we did not reach a decision during that April 2nd meeting, and Commissioner Zerner indicated he wanted to touch base with some other, with George Power specifically. And he also asked that this be placed on the agenda for discussion and possible resolutions. So,
I spoke with Georgia Power, and Georgia Power said some of the trees they would definitely have to remove. However, Mr. Logan at Georgia Power decided that some of the trees, Georgia Power would possibly let him leave those trees if he maintained a certain height, a maximum height of like 5 or 6 feet on those trees.
do we know how many?
Not sure how many of those trees.
I would say, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say there's 300 or more.
Roughly.
There's over a half a mile of,
Yes.
I didn't count.
I didn't either, but it
There's a great
it
deal.
was not a large number. Large number.
In his email, I think Mr. Logan also, he sounded kind of open-minded to maybe removing the trees and doing some kind of smaller bush. You know, something that would definitely be easier for the county to remove if there's ever any work done on it right away. You know, something that would, you know, not have a large root structure. I don't know what an improved bush would be if we, you know, he mentioned wax myrtle. You know, I don't know what possibilities there would be other than a legal cypress, but something that would be a lot smaller. He said, you know, open that suggestion.
Well,
And removing the trees.
you know, one of my issues is that we don't do as good a job as we should in keeping our rights of way cut. And we're doing much better, I think, a little bit better. Down my way it's better.
Yeah, I think we've done a lot better.
And I just hate to then begin allowing people to plant on the right of way. It's a safety issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue, but there again, on that same road, there's a great mailbox. We need to enforce that issue. It's a safety issue, even probably more than these little trees. But I just think that we should enforce our right of way.
If we give him permission to leave these trees, because George Power said as long as he keeps them at that height, well, you know, not being morbid, but 20 years from now, he may not own that property, and that person may not keep them at that height. I mean, he may pass away, we may not be here, it could be a whole different thing. But you kind of, you're setting something down that we may, whoever's sitting here may have to revisit in 5, 10 years.
I think, Mr. Brown, did you speak with Mr. Logan about possibly placing some signs, like some no parking signs?
I did.
And he seemed open to that suggestion
Yeah,
as
it
well.
seemed to me to
Yeah.
that when he was here. I just think we reinforce that.
Yep.
There's just too many issues with them being, especially in the ditch line.
Right.
If they were on the back 2 foot of the right of way, you know, that's a little bit more understanding, but you're gonna have the pine straw, the ditches there, it's gonna stop the water flow, and they're not gonna get smaller, they're gonna get bigger. And the ordinance is we don't allow on the right of way in the first place.
Of course, he can point to many places where the right of way's grown up to the edge of the road.
Well, he already has, we're talking
Yeah.
about across the street, that, you know, it had been.
But,
That's true. And we are cutting.
But we cut.
The president,
Yeah, we're trying to
we're cutting
take care
back
of
as
that.
hard as we can, trying to get it back.
Unfortunately, the tornado didn't take those out.
Well, I make a motion that we enforce our rules and ordinances regarding rights of way.
And I'll second that.
If we enforce that, can we give him beyond April 30th?
Yeah, I think we should,
Yeah, absolutely.
because there are quite a few.
There's a lot of money involved there.
Yes.
And he did come up and, you know, state it, so I think, I don't know how long, but I would say give him adequate time to, whatever y'all decide to.
60 days,
End of June. Late June.
June 3rd.
So there's a
Now, if
motion.
he doesn't do it by June 30, you're gonna stop everything you're doing and go cut him down? Probably not. But at some point, you would do that, you would clean it that way.
It'd just be a goal, more or less.
One of many. All right, all those in favor? All right, motion carries. And will we send them another letter? Yep. Okay. All right, that was June 30th. The next item is our comprehensive plan update. It was for approval tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, the financial statement. Yes, thank you. You were given the financial statement for February 2019. And Clint is here to answer any questions that you might have for that. First, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Does anybody have any questions for Clint? Okay, there's a motion and a second for approval of the financial statement for February. All those in favor? Motion carries, financial statement is approved. Now we're on the comprehensive plan update. That was on the agenda for tonight for approval, but that item has been withdrawn. We will now have a call meeting on April 30th to review some of the changes and issues that were brought up in our earlier meeting of today with the comprehensive plan committee. Okay, Randy, county manager.
Item number 7. This is an agenda item about public works and equipment trade-ins. We're going to go back several years, back in 2014. Back in 2014, the county purchased 4 John Deere tractors from the dealership to be used as rotary tractors. Since that time, these tractors, they're too lightweight. They do not hold up in right-of-way situations and have been constantly with the John Deere dealership in Columbus for repairs. This situation impedes the county's ability to effectively mow routes away. During March 2018, the county increased the 4 part-time tractor operators to full-time, which caused the tractors to be used more often and have more breakdowns. For the past several years, John Deere has had to provide the county with loaner tractors. Since most of the county tractors, the 4 of them, most of them were in the dealership in Columbus. And the minute we get 1 out, 1 would go. We would get 2 out, 2 would go. So half the fleet of the right-of-way mowers would always be in the John Deere dealership in Columbus. And we could not mow right-of-way effectively because the tractors bought in 2014 just couldn't handle, they were too lightweight and couldn't handle the right-of-way issues. And so I spent many afternoons calling Mike down because he can't mow right-of-way. And the tractors were in the shop. And so I said, gee, what are we going to do? So we met with, Mike met with John Deere. And John Deere and the county, we don't want to continue to spend time and money on these 4 tractors. John Deere's having to spend a lot of time and money on these 4 tractors since they are under an extended warranty. So John Deere has offered a solution to this problem. They're willing to take back the 4 2014 tractors as trade-ins and value them at $50,000 and sell the county 4 slightly used but never sold 2017 John Deere's tractors with 48-month, 33,000 hour warranties, extended warranties, for $106,600, resulting in a net cost to the county of $56,600 for 4 never sold new tractors that are much heavier, much more suitable for right-of-way mowing, much more horsepower. And these, even though these 4, Mike never used these 4, but something comparable was used as the loaner tractors for the last several years. So we know they are suitable for right-of-way mowing versus what we bought back in 2014. These tractors have a value of $37,843, and the county would get them for $26,650. If the board approves this, funding can come from SPLOST 2014. The existing mower attachments are not affected, and the mowers will be reused on the new tractors. So basically, staff recommends approval, so Mike can get out there and cut the right of way and minimize citizen complaints.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve buying exchanging our tractors for the 4 new tractors at the cost of $56,600.
Okay, and I second that. Are there any questions for Mike?
Well, if we have these 4 tractors we're turning in,
I'm gonna come up right here.
they're 5 years old, and we're gonna get tractors that are 3 years old. All right, they're only gonna give us $12,500 for these 4 tractors, that's a piece, that's $50,000. But they're gonna charge us $26,650 for the 4 other ones, that's only a 2-year difference, that's $14,150 difference.
When you say these have never sold, are they're brand new?
They're brand new, but
I mean, they're new in that they're not 2018, but they're.
that's right. But the difference here is the tractors that we have now, the 55s, they are a farmer's tractor. They were bought back in 2014. These are more of an ag tractor, a lot more tractor. They're all four-wheel drive. They have less than 100 hours on them. I didn't look at all 4 of them, but I know all of them are less than 200. I say less than 100. They're all less than 200 hours. I do have pictures of the new ones. They are brand new tractors. I've been down there, looked down and shown them.
So they've been just used as demonstrators?
Sir?
Have they been used as demonstrators?
They were demonstrators, and also they were in Abbeville at a peanut farm. And I don't know whether the peanut farm had ordered tractors and they hadn't come in, but they loaned them to them, and all they done, the full time of work was pulling peanut trailers from the back to the front at a peanut farm. But the tractors there's all the difference in the world between these tractors and the ones we have now. There's really no comparison. We have 2 broken in half right now at John Deere. If we pass this deal up, we're going to constantly have tractors at John Deere.
So right now, the tractors that you have that break down every other day, how many hours do they have on them roughly?
How many hours?
Do they have on those tractors right now roughly? How
We
many
have
hours?
about roughly 2,500 hours per tractor.
How many hours would a tractor typically have before we needed new tractors? If we were to keep these and not buy these
Well,
new tractors?
it's not just the fact that, that these tractors are not quite the size and horsepower we need. I didn't really want to get into this because of Sun South, but these tractors they're a known transitional problem. And it's not just our fault. It's this model, this transitional model throughout John Deere, every county, every person. And that's why I ended up getting a lifetime warranty, but that doesn't really mean anything when they're down there and we don't have it. Of course, they're fixing them, we get them back, we take them back. It's problems that can't be fixed on these tractors. And John Deere knows about it. That's why John Deere and Sun South has come together. They're giving us a lot more than what our 14s are worth through John Deere's end, I think, to try to make up for the troubles that we've had. Sun South is knocking off tremendous amount of money coming from the 38 to the 26. And then if you add in the difference, we're getting for $38,000 suggested price, $38,000, we're paying $14,000 a tractor. This model tractor has no issues. I say that, you can't really say that, but as far as John Deere is concerned and Sun South, they're not having any issues. They have none in the shop, haven't had any in the shop. As far as them being 17s, that really don't hold a bearing because of the warranty, the 48-month, 3,000-hour warranty will start at, if y'all allow it, at the buying of the tractor.
And we couldn't sell those 4 tractors for what
You
they're.
couldn't give them away.
How long, so you said it'd be about 2,500 hours? Is how much we have on the tractors now?
That's
work?
That's right.
So and they're
roughly.
they're 5 years old. So,
We're gonna get 5 years of warranty, because we won't hit the 3,000.
right, that was my next
I
question.
figured that's where you.
Right,
Yeah, we'll have 5 years of warranty. 4 years, I'm sorry.
Right,
4 years.
right.
I feel like if we don't take them up on this opportunity, a couple of years down the road, we're gonna be spending $150,000, $200,000 buying 4 new tractors. So I feel like it's a great opportunity for us to take
I don't know a
advantage.
lot about tractors, but there's one at my house, and this is a good price. I know what was paid for the one at my house.
In my opinion, the trade-ins almost don't have a value. They're just, I mean, what are you gonna do with them? They have them a lot more than we have. And they know the issue. John Deere is tired of, from what I understand, they're having to pay SunSouth because I'm demanding we have a warranty to cover these tractors. We've had troubles with these tractors for 4 to 5 years. You know, 4 years ago it started and never ended throughout the whole life. But that warranty, John Deere has to pay SunSouth to fix these tractors every time, because we're not paying them, and SunSouth's got to be paid. That's why everybody's coming together and they're making us this offer that's, is, in my opinion, hard to turn down. You compare 38, and I think they changed, they give us 5 more hundred apiece on the trade-ins. I just kept begging for more and more, so they give us a little bit more, and that brought it down to 37. But when you're talking about, I know there's a trade-in involved, but when you're talking about a $37,000 tractor and you're getting it for $14,000, and what we have now is no good, we're coming out well to the good on it.
I think you negotiated a great deal myself. It's just my personal opinion.
I think everybody's coming together with it. It's been a long run.
So you started cutting grass April 1st?
This year.
And they're already you've got 2 tractors at John Deere right now?
We have 2 down there at John Deere right now. One of them, they don't know what they're gonna do. They can't figure out the problem. It's, like I said, it's that transitional model that just has issues. And
We've just been using their tractors.
we have, every time not every time, but most times when we have one down there, we get a loaner. And that's where we've been with it. We do have 4 tractors running right now. We have the New Holland and 2 of ours and 1 of their loaners is what we're cutting grass with now. And one of the loaner tractor is indeed a 75 horse. It's probably an older model than the one we have here that they're offering, but it's the same size, same tractor, and they're loving it. It's holding slopes better. It's no comparison. It's a lot bigger tractor. All 4 of these are 4-wheel drive. 2 of ours are 2-wheel drive. So we'll be getting 4-wheel drive instead of having 2.
The tractor operators, do they like these that we're gonna try to get better than the ones we've had?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're the ones that have to use them.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
They're calling it, if y'all go with this, they're calling it Christmas in April. Because, I mean, we got, all the time that, we spend more time hauling to Victory Drive back and forth with tractors, all the time. It's
Maybe
just
we
a
won't get so
constant.
many phone calls this year.
So right now, we have the cost of hauling 2, so we're spending a lot of money hauling the tractor back and forth in time.
Right.
So we're getting a heck of a deal on 4 tractors and saving a lot of money in transportation costs.
They have, I know one, I think he said he had another one on the other side, brand new, 75 horse, just like the ones in the pictures. I can take it and put it with the 4 tractors that supposedly, hopefully, you couldn't pick out the new one from the 17s. They're not armed in any way, form, or fashion.
And all our attachments will work on the new ones.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? We have a motion and, did you say some funding from SPOS SPOS 2014?
Yes, 2014 SPOS.
Okay, 2014 SPOS. Okay, all those in favor? None? Motion carries.
Hallelujah.
It's Christmas.
So you will have 4 new tracks.
Yes, ma'am. How quick when we do this?
Tomorrow.
God bless you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Randy, your project update?
Madam Chairman, Board of Commissioners, again, the project updates, being the high points. Item number 2, Jaws of Life, they should be here in late April. Those 3 replacement Jaws of Life tools. Number 4, the annual resurfacing, which for this year is Barnesville Road and Lower Blue. Lower Blue has been completed, and Barnesville will begin tomorrow resurfacing that project. So Barnesville Road will begin tomorrow from the bridge to almost to the solid waste entrance. Number 7, Ellswood Park. Again, that park, well, that disposal site has been closed to the public as of Sunday at midnight. It has been barricaded off. We're directing people to dispose of their storm debris at the transfer station. And then we are going out for a bid pretty soon to see what the interest is on people to chip that area. What we cost to chip the collected storm debris only. See what kind of interest there is there. And maybe do a combination of chipping and burning. We're going to see how that pans out. But we are getting a plan of action on that collected storm debris. But Ellswood Park otherwise is not being developed. And
Let me ask you about the park, the road. Is the road, there may have been some damage during the tornado. Was there damage
on the
to
internal road?
On the internal road.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but the internal road is not damaged, only damaged by all the truck traffic on it.
That's what I was asking,
Yeah.
all that truck traffic, what has that done to the new road?
It'll all just need to be sweeped up a little bit. There's no real damage to the construction that went on before the storm.
And now that things are greening up, the tornado damage looks a little better. I mean, you still got your mess there, but I mean, it's woods, it's a space that doesn't have to be pristine. But what about the trails? Are they completely covered in debris?
There's a lot of trees down in the park itself that's going to have to be gathered and cleared as time permits and burned in order to clean that park up. There's a bunch of down trees.
I know there are a bunch of down trees.
Yeah, very carefully
But,
down trees.
But, you know, like I said, they're in the woods.
Right.
So unless they're a safety hazard, like they're about to fall completely from here to there, there are a lot of them that wouldn't have to be cleaned up. So maybe we can get back on that sooner
Right.
rather than later.
But the first prong of this attack is to get rid of the collected
yes.
storm debris
Yes.
by chipping and or burning. Then once that's out of the way, clean the
See
park
what
up,
else you
and then have Alexander Paving come in and complete their contract.
can do. And what about the timeline of getting the building repaired?
We gotta get all the trees away from the building so we can access it. So that's gonna be part of the plan of attack. But it's gonna be some time. It's gonna be some time to
We
clear.
haven't started bidding out the repair of the lodge.
No, not yet. But we do have a insurance check already.
Yeah.
So, but once we clear this collected debris and clean up the park and get access to the house, then we'll work on the lodge repairs.
What do you think the estimated time on that would be? A year? 6 months?
I would say closer to 9 months before we can actually get back on development of that park. Now, I would say 9 to 12 months until the collected debris is gone, Alexander's contract is completed, we clean up the park the best we can and make it more appealing, and then we can begin development again. I would say maybe in not the upcoming budget year, but maybe the next budget year, we can start that development of that park again, start it back up. That's number 7. Number 8, rails and trails. We do have federal authorization to begin that project. It is going out for bid later this month. And the bid opening will be on May 30, awarded during June, July, and completion by the end of the year for that first phase of the rails and trail project, funded by federal grants and county matching funds from Pine Mountain downtown to about somewhere behind the villas, maybe somewhere behind the Mountain Creek Inn, right in that general area, depending on the results of the bid. Number 9, the Airport Wildlife Fence Project Phase 2. Again, it's been awarded. We're waiting for the airport open house to conclude on May the 4th and begin that project. The same thing goes with number 11, the airport runway and taxiway remarking and crack seal project. Again, both projects have been awarded, waiting for the fly-in to be completed, so those projects can begin. And number 12, the fly-in is May 4th, and a promotional flyer has been distributed and is being distributed and is on our website. Number 15, the Scrap Tire Amnesty event is again this Saturday, April 20, and the next Saturday, April 27th, to accept for free scrap tires at a transfer station on those 2 Saturdays during normal hours. Again, a promotional flyer has been distributed.
Actually, I had a phone call asking about that today. So it's working, your information.
Right. So it's on our website, social media sites. I'll pass them out. I'll talk it up. It's an interesting project. I even had a phone call today about it. I had another phone call. Somebody from the Columbus government wanted to know how we did it. It's easy. So Columbus government's asking Harris County how to do it. Wow. They made my ODAT too. So that's number 8. Then number 9, number 11 and 12. Number 15. Again, number 19, the comp plan is coming to a conclusion. We'll have that wrapped up by the end of the month. Muddy Lakes is still progressing on with option 8. Number 24, the clearing and grubbing of the 35 acres of the Northwest Harris Business Park. Again, since we did not get that industry prospect, we're going to have a bid deadline. We're going to extend it because we're in a more relaxed mode and not in such a hurry. The bid deadline has been extended to April the 24th. And instead of 30 days, the completion time is set to 90 days. And we are getting a lot more interest, and hopefully the cost will go down on that project. And that should come to the board for consideration on May the 7th. Number 25, the replacement locking and intercom system of the prison. That's been completed as of last week. And that's, again, the high point. Well, maybe we'll have to answer any questions the board may have.
On number 24, the clearing and grubbing of that 35 acres.
Yes.
I talked with a gentleman who does forestry and land management, and he went out and looked at some of the pine trees that are out there, some planted pines that are out there. And he was telling me maybe within 3 to 4 years that we'd actually have some value in that timber. So my thought, is, if we don't have anybody that's pushing for that property that no necessarily need for it right away, then maybe we kind of manage that land and let those pines grow. As trees grow, it's just going to essentially growing money for us. And we harvest those trees, then we can in turn use some of that money to pay for the rest of any other grubbing or roads that need to be built in that area. If there's no huge rush from any companies. And I don't know, I thought about looking at the other land out there in the business park and see if that's an opportunity to do with any of the other land out there.
I'd have to argue with you on that.
Okay.
We had a big prospect that we lost. I don't yet have confirmation of the reason why, but I do know that they were concerned about we weren't clearing it. When these big deals come up, which potentially this one would have probably ended up down the road paying taxes to the county $300,000-400,000 a year. There are not that many of them that come along the economy right now that do it. If we don't have land that is cleared and ready for them to come in and start grading and put the pad ready and whatnot, it makes it real hard for us to get. I just think the long-term risk, I understand what you're saying, it'd be great to be able to do it, and we do have some other land. We got land on the other side of 103 that it'll be a while before we develop that one. So yes, we can certainly let trees grow. But I think this area, and it's about 93 total acres in that area, that's the area that is the easiest to do and bring us a quicker return. And I just think we need to go ahead and at least have part of it cleared, so we've got something. Somebody comes in and wants a deal, we've got it ready. That's, I mean, you never know.
Right.
If we had an economic downturn, yeah, we sat for 4 or 5 years without any. Most of those projects, they want to move pretty quickly once they make a decision. Sometimes it's forever making that decision. And this one, their time frame was, they really wanted to be able to be on that property in June, starting their building. We were running by. So I think that may have been a contributing factor, but I don't know that for sure. But I do think it kind of may jeopardize the county's ability to get another big client.
Okay, anything else, Randy?
That's me, and so we'll proceed with the bid, and you'll see it for the board's consideration May the 7th. Some numbers in the back. You can see our SPLOST collections. We have 1 more month. Have a 5-year period. We got 1 more month. That looks interesting. And then our new collection period has begun, but of course everything is 1 month in arrears. So this 2014 SPLOST will be completed very soon. The loss collection, you can see how that's coming about. We're going to meet our budget of $1.8 million. The T-SPLOST, that's still healthy. You can see we will never make our budget on the T-SPLOST, and that's going to end 2022. So I think there's some talk about extending that. So that's coming up. You can see the single-family home building permits. Again, it's really healthy. This fiscal year, we might make the same as last fiscal year, about 220 single-family home building permits. Again, that's really healthy. And the solid waste tonnage collections, again, that stays real healthy. So the economic indicators point in a good direction.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am, I have one item, an annual item notice that we was served with for a claim for damages arising out of the helicopter accident that occurred over in Alabama when a helicopter struck a power line over there, and the helicopter went down, and the passenger in this was killed along with the pilot of the plane. The claims against the Metro Narcotics Task Force, which is a entity, loosely bound entity that is based on with local governments participating in the government, City of Columbus, Muscogee County, Russell County, Phoenix City, Alabama, Russell County, Alabama, and their entities, as well as the Columbus, in this case, the Columbus Police Department, as well as the Columbus Airport. The pilot was an agent of this Metro Task Force, and they claimed that he was negligent in the operation of the helicopter, resulting in its crash and the death of this passenger over in Alabama. But I recommend that you deny the claim, as all the other county governments are going to do, and then we'll wait and see what happens when the suit getting filed. But this is a normal process you have to go through. If you have a claim against the county government, you have to notify the county government within 1 year of the date of the accident that you plan to file the suit. If you do not notify them within that 1 year, you're barred. However, you have 2 years after the date of the accident to file suit. So this is this annual item notice is before the litigation requirement that is required by state law. And so I recommend to you that you deny the annual item notice.
Thank you. Any questions?
Motion to deny.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to deny and a second. All those in favor? All right, motion carried.
I have nothing else.
There's no need for executive session. Anybody have anything else we need to discuss? And I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion second, all those in favor? Thank you for coming.